Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News Update. A local MP has hit out at one of the Hunter's respected banking institutions after it decided to close two more local branches. The Newcastle Perm says the decision to close its Fletcher and Medowie branches on March 26 coincides with the expiry of leases. It says foot traffic through branches has fallen by 30% in the past 5 years as more people do their banking online. Wallsend MP Sonia Hornery says not everybody has access to online banking.
Some of the banks gave us some data, and we know that around 45% of people aged 70 years or over in our electorate in Wallsend are not registered for digital banking. And my mum's a good example who lives in Wallsend. You know, it was difficult enough to get her to use a mobile phone, let alone use a credit card. She trusts money.
It's been revealed the Hunter has been without a parliamentary secretary for the Hunter since 2019. Shadow Minister for the Hunter and Cessnock MP Clayton Barr says Catherine Cusack was previously announced in the role. However, it's now emerged the Premier failed to complete her paperwork and Ms Cusack was never formally appointed. He says Liberal MLC Taylor Martin has now been officially and properly appointed to the role. Shadow Minister for Rural Health and Port Stephens MP Kate Washington says she doesn't apologise for standing up for patients in rural areas after being ejected from Parliament. She was suspended for disruptive behaviour during question time when she pressed the Deputy Premier about the 800 submissions to the parliamentary inquiry into rural and regional healthcare, many of which relayed horror stories of inadequate treatment and under-resourcing at country hospitals. Kate Washington says she wanted to know why the government was treating patients in country areas like second-class citizens.
They've been leaving nurses to look after whole hospitals by themselves without doctors, and the consequences of the lack of resources has been seen and felt hard by people and families across rural and regional New South Wales.
Plans to revamp the streetscape of the Nelson Bay CBD are being fast-tracked after Port Stephens Council voted to borrow $5 million. Over the next 10 years, Council will use funds from its smart parking scheme to speed up delivery of its Nelson Bay public domain plan. It will see Stockton Street upgraded and provide more parking. Council was forced to borrow the funds for the plan after the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal rejected a rate rise application in 2019. Maitland Regional Art Gallery will launch its 2021 program tomorrow night with a series of experimental music shows. One musician will play to one listener in a 10-minute personalised concert. One-to-one concert organiser Sally Walker says even regular gallery visitors will experience something new.
We've tried to find corners of the gallery that you wouldn't find a traditional concert in. So there's still an element of people coming to the gallery and thinking, look, I know my way around here. Yes, but we're actually taking you into some places that aren't open to the public.
There's no ticket price, but donations to a charity helping to support out-of-work musicians will be welcomed.
2NURFM Sport.
Undefeated boxer Tim Zhu and Brisbane-based Irishman Dennis Hogan are set to face off at Newcastle Entertainment Centre on March 31. The pair formally unveiled the bout at Fort Scratchley yesterday, which is expected to be held in front of a sellout crowd. Zhu has told NBN he's ready to make his own legacy in the Hunter, where his father finished with a perfect record from 7 matches in the 90s.
You know, I was only a little young kid back in the days when Dad was fighting here in Newcastle. So, you know, it's good to be back here, to be fighting on my own card.
Jets midfielder Steve Ugarkovic is set to become the first A-League player to play 100 consecutive matches with the club's clash with Melbourne Victory on Sunday. The 26-year-old says he wants to finish his time with the club with a bang before he links up with former coach Carl Robinson at the Wanderers next season. And Merriweather surfer Philippa Anderson says her training has gone to the next level after a surprise call-up for a home break championship tour event in April. The 29-year-old was unveiled as a wild card after Newcastle was announced as a CT venue for the event's opening leg. And the winning numbers in Oz Lotto are 45, 29, 15, 19, 40, 14 and 6, and the supplementaries are 17 and 21. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.